gentleman. You were everything and more. Gangster in the streets, but an African king at home. California swag, we met at 360 on the east side. One phone call had us hooked. At 14, I felt love inside. While you're inside, I'll hold you down. You still make your community proud.
Good evening, y'all, and welcome to the People's Campaign. I'm your girl, Denise Nicole, bringing you some news you can use. Tonight, we have a fantastic topic, building back the community after the storm. I have some amazing panelists coming in from all over. We have Niette Ridgway from Lindbergh, North Carolina, aka North Kakalaki. Hey, sis. We have Shadow Too Real from Jackson, Florida, and Miss Princess Evans from ATL, Georgia. And we'll also be having Tavon Provoid from Augusta, Georgia, joining us a little bit later. So welcome, y'all. Hey, Tavon, I see you just joined us. I just wanted to tap in with y'all right quick, and we're building back the community after the storm. So I want to talk about a little bit of fantastic failures, right? We all got failures, but we're going to call them fantastic failures because you can't weather a storm without really bouncing back from it. So Niette, I want to start with you. What are some fantastic failures you may have experienced during the pandemic, surviving the Trump era, just surviving life in general? And from 2020 to 2023, it's been a rough couple of years. So what's been going on with you, sis?
Well, I'm gonna say that sometime during the COVID era was probably a blessing for many people, especially myself. During that time, I was really jumping to my entrepreneurship. I realized a lot of my value that I've been putting out, and I was like, man, I actually had to sit down and see where I was giving away my talents, that I was giving away my time. So that was the time I needed to go inward instead of always being on the go. I'm the type where I was holding down 3 jobs. Okay. That was like a workaholic. But then I found out that holding on those 3 jobs wasn't really good for me to progress because I was always building on someone else's dream. So some of the challenges that I've pretty much overcome within the last, 3 to 4 years involved me finding myself. So I'm actually happy. I know it's like, you happy? Yeah. That little slowdown period we got, I feel like most of us needed that to really assess where we are and what we're doing with our personal life.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that, Jim, because really, an old prophet once told me that he said you got to slow it down so you could do it some more. If you slow down and just reanalyze everything, every contract in your life is up for renegotiation. If it's costing you your peace, it's too expensive. So we get to really flave tonight. Miss Princess, how you doing?
Hey, how are you?
Good. Do you have any fantastic failures that you would like to share with us and how you overcame them during the pandemic era?
Well, my failures wasn't really that major. It's just that, I had, at the time, my mom was dying of cancer. I had cancer during different disasters, as far as in New York, we had Katrina and different other things. And I was juggling work. I had foster kids. So I had to really think about our needs. What was most important out of the whole thing? So I had to kind of juggle being a mom, being a provider for them. So I had to work more hours. I had to kind of put the children that's the oldest more in charge because my mom was too elderly to attend to everything. So the eldest one kind of helped me out a lot through all this. So, just working more hours, and I just provided for them.
Yeah, yeah. It
I had to
sounds
do
like
what I had to do.
resiliency.
You know how
Yeah.
that go.
Yep, you just get it done. But it's a resiliency story, right? Like I like to like use the palm tree as an analogy because during a storm, a palm tree is gonna scrape the ground. It's gonna slap on every side. But when that storm is over, it's gonna be standing tall in all its greatness. So thank you for sharing that resiliency story with us. And Shadow 2 Real, I'm coming to you next, my brother. How you doing? How you living? How you feeling?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Blessed and highly favored. I can't complain. Wouldn't do me no good, no way.
Mm-hmm. Not
So
at
so
all.
enlighten us, sir. Like what have you been going through in the last 3 to 4 years of the pandemic era of just slowing down so you can do it some more?
Oh man, I done went through a good little bit, man. But I will say, out of everything, I will say it did bring me closer to my kids. For sure. Like working and stuff like that, we ended up cutting off a lot of time and stuff. So it kind of brought a lot of us closer together. A lot of us. I started seeing more of my kids more. I started learning them all over again, like the different things that like, oh yeah, my son is this, my daughter is that, stuff like that. And then you like, dang, like I didn't know you were that good at this. I didn't know you could do this. Like you start relearning your kids all over again. It kind of at the time I felt like, oh, like me as a dad, I should already know my kids in and out. I should know everything about them, they likes, dislikes, and I didn't. So I would definitely say this pandemic definitely brought me closer. And as you can see before we started, the littlest one is attached to me at the hip. So
Yeah, that's a blessing for sure. Sometimes we see our children, but we don't see our children, and they're dope souls in every capacity. So, thank you for your feedback. We're going to get into an amazing interview. We have Tavon Provoid with us. Tavon is the owner and creator of Veterans 10 Pin Takeover in Augusta, Georgia. Tavon, we want to welcome you to the show.
Thank you. I appreciate you all. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, boss. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you, what you do, and how did you come up with the Veterans 10 Pin Takeover?
Okay, so it's a great question. From day one, um, um, I can't say I came from nothing, but I came from a poverty-stricken lifestyle, but I didn't even know that I was actually poor, right? Because my dad gave me a lot of values, and he magnified the values as the overarching thing. Like it was more family orientated than the things that you had, right? So I didn't have my own room until I was like 21 years old, and that's how because that's how I came up. Everything was like family oriented. So fast forward, I'm a veteran in the United States Army, and a lot of people can't. How can I say this? I came in. I joined the Army during a critical time where all the 9/11 stuff happened. So I was in the I was deployed a bunch of times. So I knew if anybody knew, I knew a struggle. So I turned the struggle into a positive thing, right? So throughout my life, I gave back to my family, and like even now, they are having the most successful part of their lives because I literally invested in them, and seeing positive outcomes right now. They are like celebrity status right now. We'll get into that later. So how did I come up with Veterans 10 Pin Takeover? I had multiple businesses, but like everybody else during the pandemic, um, a shortcoming came, and then you learn something about yourself. It was a hard time. It was a lot of separation. Getting to know your family a little better, your immediate family, and like the biggest thing was at the time I was separated from my family. I was in Korea, and it was one of the most challenging times because it was the only time I was away from my family, along with learning a new organization. Um, I was one of the main. I ran a key role in the NSA at the time, and all the things that I've learned throughout the path, learning personalities, learning different environments, all that came into play, and one big culminating event in that period of time during COVID, and I learned a lot about myself. I learned that I'm a very resilient person. I learned that I will have to use all those skills I built throughout the years to, to to make them all work at one time, and it was a phenomenal thing. Later, I learned that. Um, Later, I learned that that one piece made me a better person and made my future businesses like Veteran Temp and Takeover a successful event. And I can speak volumes on how successful this organization is. Sorry. Oh yes,
Absolutely.
and that's the fly for it. Sorry, hey, whoever brought it up, thank you.
Yeah, and you have a great event coming up on May 27th through the 28th at Bolero in Augusta, Georgia. Can you tell us a little bit about the event and who you're looking for to show up? Do they have to register? What's going on with this event, friend?
So, so I started Veteran Temp and Takeover as a company that want to give back, right? So if you're not pouring into the future, then your past is going to be bad, right? So as a company, you look for a particular type of customer, and we're definitely looking for bowlers, right? But if you're going to be an old bowler, you got to be a young bowler, right? So why not go and give back to the younger crowd, because they will be the future bowlers. So what my company does is we offer scholarship tournaments, in the in-between months with our adult tournaments following. And this one right here is a representation of this what's going to be happening in a few weeks. That's going to fund the children's tournament. I want to say a few weeks ago we gave $3,000 out to a $3,000 out in scholarships, and the one in May is going to hopefully produce $10,000 for the next month. It's going to be in August.
It sounds like you're doing amazing work. I would love to know, like, so when somebody receives one of these scholarships, they can bring young and I don't like to call anybody old. I like to say more seasoned, but they could bring the seasoned generation and the young generation together to bowl in the tournament. Is that correct?
So we have a multitude of tournaments that's going to be coming up, right? We, if you're familiar with the bowling terminology, we got 10-pin, a 9-pin no tap tournament, which is if you roll 9 pins, you get a strike, basically. So we're going to have that type of tournament. We're going to have a doubles tournament. We're going to have an adult youth tournament. And in the in-between month tournaments are going to be ones that's, geared towards, scholarship and stuff like that. And of course, the older ones is going to be like the adults make the money and we're going to give it to the kids.
Listen, they're an investment, right? So
Yeah.
let me ask you this question. If I'm a new bowler and I need like the bumpers up, because friend, like I can't shoot straight, can I still join the league, or do I have to get on like a different team?
So
Is it age qualifiers?
That is absolutely a great question. So one thing that Veteran Temp and Takeover definitely does, we have ambassadors, right? Our ambassadors they give lessons. Everything is sponsored. Everything that leads up to a tournament is sponsored and it's free. So I have just because gender is such a touchy area right now, I have a female and a male. So if you don't feel comfortable with a male that's handling you and you just don't want to be in that environment, or you just don't like, hey, we got a female that's going to take care of you also. So yeah, we got gender neutral stuff. They all train. They train to be around kids. Everything, the culture, the atmosphere, everything is like perfect for you.
That's great. I'm excited to hear how the outcome comes out from your event that's happening in May. I would love to double back to something that you said earlier about the family celebrity status. Can you enlighten us a little bit more about what that is and how the family's really showing up? Are the paparazzi there? Like, what's going on?
Okay, so last year there was a conversation amongst some NBA gentlemen. I don't want to put it out yet until it's solid, so but I do have a relative. He is the most sought out NBA shooter coach, and his name is Chris Matthews. And me and him had a conversation along with some other NBA stars, and we was like, hey, what does Augusta have, right? And we was looking at a particular crowd. Also, we was looking at something that hasn't been tapped into, because we wanted it to make we want to make waves. So we came to the table and he was like, hey, let's do bowling tournaments. And I was like, not bad, because that's already a field that, that we thrive in. So I was like, all right, cool. What are you looking at? What time frame and how much time we got to react? And we had a good conversation, and some major endorsements. Some people that some companies that definitely want to push this. And as a result of this, the success of the company right now, where we stand, they're just waiting for this 27th, 28th event to happen so they can see, hey, who's taking part in this. And right now, we got all the surrounding states that's going to be participating. We have a number of people coming from North Carolina, Tennessee, Georgia, up and down the East Coast, South Carolina, Florida, Alabama, and I want to say Kentucky, excuse me. I'm sorry, Philadelphia, Maryland, and Virginia. We got people all coming out to this one event because they know the prize fund that we're giving out is a pretty significant prize fund, but that's not the only thing that's happening during that period of time. We're giving out money, we're giving out bowling balls, bowling equipment, we're giving out gift cards, and all is coming from local small businesses that's going to be giving back, so we could give back to the community, so we could attract a bigger crowd.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. It feels so good knowing somebody that knows somebody. So if somebody's on the fence about joining or registering, where do they register? Who are some sponsors that you may want to shout out? And then how do they follow you on like social media channels?
Okay, so you can get on veterans.10pin.takeover. That's a social media page, and you can look us up on Facebook also. I want to give special thanks to Nike, Red Bull, Chris Lethal Shooter Matthews. I want to give a shout out to Tipsy's Bar and Grill. They gave us some nice gift cards. I want to give a shout out to 1011 Trucking Company, Pro Family Properties, Pro Family Construction, definitely the Veteran 10 Pin Takeover team. Looking for team members too. So if somebody wants a job and they feel as though they're ambitious and well-driven, team oriented, family oriented, and they want to just spearhead this whole event and this whole movement, then hey, you're more than welcome to join the team. And it's all performance based. The more we sell, the more people that's driven towards the company. Hey, you can come join us, and we got a place for you on the team.
That is great. We're so grateful to have you here. Lastly, what words would you give to a young adult that is coming out of poverty themselves, and they need something that's that one jewel that you could drop on them that's inspiration for living a better life, creating a better tomorrow? Because our youth are our future generation. What would you give to them?
What I give right now? There's so many avenues that I would say. I would tell them, contact me, and I will lead you down the good road. A lot of people can't fund their future. If I see potential in you and you got good ambition and you got a bunch of question marks, I'll get you down the right road. So you can come talk to me. My door is open 100%, 365. You can hit me up. Hey, my name is Tavon, but my friends call me P. You can be like, P, I can't figure it out. What should I do first? I want to start a business. And then we'll go down that road. Because I had these conversations every day. Everybody asks me every day about LLCs and what I should do. I want to be a nonprofit. I want to be I want to be for profit. What's a write-off? What's not a write-off? What should I have the whole script laid out 100%. Contact me. That's what I would say.
For our People's Campaign viewers, how do they contact you? How do they tap in and build their network, which eventually will be their net worth? How do they tap in with you, P?
So my cell phone number, my business number, if you wanted to shoot me a text message, a phone call anytime, just don't call after 8, 9 o'clock. Just be respectful. 706-513-2223.
All right, y'all. He gave you the live and direct business line. Be respectful and not after 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we thank you, Pete, for joining us. We're so excited for the Veterans 10-Pin Takeover, May 27th through the 28th at Bolero's in Augusta, Georgia. And so, yeah, we look forward to hearing the outcome and seeing how everything shakes out and all the money that you raise. So thank you for being here with us.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And if y'all ever want to do another interview, I can get you updates on how we're doing. Hey, I'm more than welcome to come and speak my piece about how my business is going.
Absolutely. Before you leave, I just want to double back to my panelists to see if they have any additional questions for you. Let's just see. So we have Miss Princess on the line, Lavette, Shadow 2 Real, and my girl Nia. Any questions for Mr. Tavon Provoid?
Well, have you sought out other locations? I know that you're partnering with other people, but have you sought out like other states to host it in?
Yes, definitely. So this area alone is just the where it began, right? So I'm a retired veteran. I have like few other businesses. So like I'm pretty much grounded a lot. If you feel as though that you're willing to promote the brand, right? And you're solid, we could definitely sit down, have a business meeting and say, hey, let's consider this area. There are a few things that I would like to go over, as in, have you been looking at, what's the scene like? Because it's not only bowling that we're gonna be doing, right? I want to get into like day parties to promote the business and stuff like that. This is do like a little networking portion of it. So when that environment starts to grow and you believe that, hey, you can endorse the company and you could be whatever, let's say if it maneuvers into you being a regional manager or something like that. Oh, I'm more than welcome for them opportunities.
Okay. That's awesome. Well, we'll have your number. So look for a call from me. Definitely want to get up with you.
Definitely. I would definitely entertain it.
Looks like I was muted, but in our comments on YouTube, Miss Tamisha Hill said, thank you. She said, that's fire and congratulations on the work that you're doing.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Any other panelists have questions for Pete while he's with us? And if we have no other questions, I just wanted to say thank you for your service. We appreciate all that you did for our country, all that you're doing for our community. And it's truly building back the community after the storm. So thank you for being here with us.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So I want to get into some more conversations and topics with, hey, D Awesome, welcome to the show, friend. So D Awesome, I shared where everybody else is from. Can you just, come on and tell us where you're from, how you living, how you feeling today?
I'm from Houston. I live in San Antonio. This echo is so strong. I'm from Houston. I live in San Antonio. I've lived all over the United States of America. I'm feeling, I don't know, explicit, great, alleviated from, I don't know. So I'm great right now, Yeah, that's about it. I don't know what else to tell you. Happy being happy.
Well, we happy to hear that you're happy, friend. We happy that you're living and feeling great. So tell us a little bit about, earlier I posed the question of, during the COVID era, the 2020 to 2023 era, did you have any fantastic failures? And if you did, what were they and how did you overcome them?
There was a lot of fantastic failures, and I loved every last one of them. One, I was single. I was single. So my fantastic failures of attention to others wasn't up to par, because my attention that I believe that I crave for self was so much on me. And Barnes and Noble, it's like I went and hung out with people. But let me get back to Barnes and Noble. Like, Barnes and Noble was literally my second home, because at the time, before working from home became the norm, I was already doing it. I got tired of hearing people's kids outside, didn't hear school buses picking them up. So Barnes and Noble, I come, and I was there. So I guess that was one particular failure too, also, that I overcame. I didn't realize till now that I learned to transition my environments, which became very big for my dating situations. Was transitioning the environments to get the results that I wanted. One of my mentors, Charles Garrett from Chicago, would always tell me, in order to get the results that you never had, you must do the things you never done. And so it was always a frequent reminder, even when we were just sitting there drinking coffee, like, bro, we're not even talking about anything particular. Why is it still hit me in the head? And there it was. So that also came into play as well. With that, the failure of not recognizing the repetition that's needed was also something that was overcome. So between those times, I've become more repetitious, more open to giving people the space to be open in themselves. Along from learning that journey came from within. And that was the biggest reminder that everything came from within. So whatever I want truly and desire, I really have to give and partake and participate within self before I can, Niet to be my friend, or Miss Denise to be my friend, or Brother Shadow to be a real one. I got to do those things for myself. And that's just the non-tangible things that people don't really discuss. Is always the tangible stuff when it comes down to it. And so peace, that real inner peace, that quality time of peace that mattered to a point was, I'm good if I'm damned, I'm good if I'm undamned type of peace. That was a failure that I truly overcame, because if something disturbed my peace, well, guess what? Be ready for the category 5 that came with it. And if it got to a point I was looking for your mama's address, that's what was going to happen. But found like, hey, that's not necessary. You don't have to blow that steam that way. And found out that you can live in people's head rent free by never saying anything, not reacting, not giving any attention to anything that they really want, because that's what they really seeking. So good, bad, and indifferent, they want something from you. If you don't give it, they have nothing still. And so that was another failure that I overcome, not to give myself to situations that I'm not obligated to give. Truly participating and understanding the powers of self was, I had the powers and options. I opt in, I opt out, I opt to, I opt not, I opt will, I opt won't. If I'm not opting for any of it, I'm not opting for it. That's the end of discussion. And so learning the power was in my options was one of the strongest failures of all times that will remain as me being the common sense king, as Niet has learned here in recent days.
I love it so much. Thank you, from the common sense king. But listen, really, when people realize like your peace is nothing to play with, right? Like your purpose, your peace, and your passion, they all go hand in hand. And being self-centered and self-love is not selfish. people get so upset when you're like, I'm focusing on me, friend. Like I'm not coming out. One, it's a pandemic, and you might got the gift that keep on giving. I don't want that, so I'm gonna stay in my bubble. But at the end of the day, the thing that I learned through the pandemic is coming together in community. And it was so important because I live in a small development where there's 7 houses out here, but there's 7 families. There's mothers, fathers, children, single mothers, however. And I said, I'm gonna do Denise Nicole Community Resource Center. If you need help signing up for unemployment benefits, whatever, I got you. I'm gonna have some juice boxes for your kids because they can't come in the house. I'm gonna set up in the parking lot, friend. We're gonna have a sanitizer, pump, everything. But I did that because like we're all we have at the end of the day. And if I have a resource and knowledge that I can share with you, why would I sit on that gift? Why would I hide that from you? Because at the end of the day, nobody's coming to our rescue. We are our rescue. We are our peace. We are our hope. And I used to laugh and say, like, if somebody F with my peace, I'm a cut be. I don't cuss on public radio, but at the end of the day, that's really how I felt because my peace is too expensive. I've worked too hard to be here, and I am not going back to where I've already healed from. And that's a challenge every day within ourselves, especially the pandemic. A lot of us on this call today are serial entrepreneurs. We are hustlers by trade, by nature, right? And slowing down during the pandemic, for me, it was like, man, I'm staring my trauma in the face. You mean I got to be still? I got to be quiet? Oh no, friend, that was not good because I could no longer hide in my busyness. I could no longer hide in my accomplishments. And I really had to like look at myself face to face. And that was a war within itself. Nobody outside of the walls of me could affect me the way I was affecting me. So I had to learn and put things in priority, what was important. And I shared on the Boss Talk conversations, like I went into the construction trades because there was grocery workers and there was construction workers working. And I lost my career during the pandemic. And I said, by any means necessary, when my executive director called me and said, I got to let you go, friend, like this is the call I never wanted to give you. And I said, you know what, like I'm a resilient woman. I'm gonna bounce back and I'm gonna land on my feet. Mark my words, because God got me. And I went into the construction trades for 6 months. And I remember being in my pre-apprenticeship school telling somebody that somebody's gonna hire me out of this field in 6 months. Period. Like I'm not supposed to be out here working like this. Like I'm supposed to be in the office, but I'm gonna do whatever it takes to provide for my family. And it was 6 months in that, like, it was a nice, nasty opportunity. Like people are really nice to you when they can check off that box. I have a minority, I have a woman going into the field of construction. That was the nice part. The nasty part was like, I don't really want you here. Women can only sweep the floor. And I was like, friend, I don't care if I'm sweeping the floor because you're going to pay me the wages that you pay me. You know what I mean? I've been sweeping the floor my whole life. I know how to do it real well. But if you train me right, I'll be a great cement mason. And I wasn't being trained right. And the last day that I worked, I remember I had fell on a pour and we were building bridges. So I'm up high at nighttime. And I remember like talking to God afterwards, like, I don't even know. This is my last day. This is the last day that I have to bite my tongue because it hurts. This is the last day that I have to shrink myself because I'm too anointed, too appointed to be in this space. And so they don't even know I quit, friend. And I'm popping it with God, and God had to reveal to me, I didn't tell you to go do that. I had a different pathway for you, but you chose that one. So you're going to have to ride that one out for a little bit longer. And now I'm able to not only be able to go retrain, leadership in construction, but I'm able to recruit young youth of color into the construction trades and prepare them for that trade. And so it's like, it's a full circle. So we talked about the fantastic failures. Let's talk about some of the successes, because everybody reprioritize their commitments to themselves and to their businesses. I want to hear about what y'all got going on now. I'm excited. Miss Levette, I have not heard from you yet, sis, of where you're from, how you're living, how you're feeling, and what you have going on in 2023.
Hi. I know it's echoing. Can y'all still hear me? Okay. I'm from Alexandria, Louisiana. This is my first time on the forum. I have a lot going on, but it's all good. I'm blessed. I'm grateful because I was in a very bad car accident last year that totaled my car and almost totaled me. But I am blessed. I have a job. I go to work every day. The pandemic was hard. It was rough, but thank God, where I work at the sheriff's office, we did a skeleton crew, but we still got our full paycheck, so that was a blessing. And I'm just blessed. I'm grateful. I'm happy to be here, and I'm at peace. And like he was saying earlier, you were speaking earlier about peace. If something I feel like disturbs my peace, I have to remove myself from it. And that's just at my age. I'm 55 years old, and peace is so important. And I tell my kids that all the time. I have three kids, 27, 20, and 18, and they're doing well. And I just thank God. I'm blessed and grateful to be here. Uh, hopefully I'll be retiring in the next 2 years, and I definitely want to start another career, since I'm still in good health, and I'm just blessed to be here. I'm grateful, and thank you, for having me in the forum. I've enjoyed the conversation thus far.
Thank you so much for being here. 55 and fine. That's at 555.
That's right. Them double nickel. We call them double nickels down here in the South.
Yes, absolutely. We are so grateful that you're here. We're grateful that the totaling of the car did not total you out, because you have so much more work to do, and we are grateful to have you here. Miss Tamisha Hall in the comments said, too anointed, too appointed, to numb yourself down or dumb yourself down. So we're going to keep riding with that as a motto for 2023. Mr. Shadow, too real. What you got going on, friend?
Oh man, what don't I got going on? For me, mostly it's been getting back to the basics, like music and everything else that I've been working on and stuff like that. That was probably another thing I could say during the pandemic is what I picked up on again is getting back to that passion for music. I mean, normally in normal everyday life with most people, work gets in the way, kids gets in the way, things like that. But when you have time to finally slow down and actually think about, like, what are you good at? What do you like to do? What are you good at? You know what I'm saying? What about yourself, basically? You know what I mean? We don't have time on a normal day-to-day basis to think about that, but that pandemic actually made everybody slow down. So where everybody saw negative, we picked positives. We made positives happen. So for me, it was getting back to the music. So even now, like trying to do shows, I'm actually working on 6 projects right now. Yeah, 6 different projects with like 4 or 5 different people. So in the past, I was only able to drop maybe one album a year. I'm probably about to knock out 6 before this year's out. So be on the lookout.
That's dope. Congratulations on that. Where can people follow your music journey? Where can they tap in with you?
I'm literally on everything. So if you listen to Spotify, it's Shadow Too Real on Spotify. Apple Music, Shadow Too Real. Instagram, Shadow _ Too Real. Facebook, Shadow Too Real. Literally everything. That's the best way to put it. Wherever you look, that's where I'm at.
Look for the Shadow Too Real. So we're gonna dive into a new topic. So what can we do moving forward that will bring back the old school family dynamic? I'm gonna start with Miss Princess. What can we do to bring it back, friend?
Well, as far as like what I do, like me and my daughter, we like have more family time. We kind of like sit down. Like back in the days, like I grew up like having dinner at a certain time, 5 o'clock. So everyone had to meet there at the dinner table at 5 o'clock. So me and my daughter brought that back. So we can actually sit down, talk, communicate with one another, see what's going on with each other's lives. She just graduated with her PhD as a forensic biologist. So she just moved here to Atlanta with me. I've been here 2 years now. So we're trying to feel out the area, what we're going to do. I just started a business venture as far as trucking company. So, it's just that getting back that family life, being a family all together. People like losing touch. Everybody had the cell phones, TikTok, all type of things. So I try to tell her, let's put that aside for now. We got to get back family, start communicating with our family, calling them on the phone, getting in touch with one another. So that's what basically we're doing after the pandemic, because within 2 years, we kind of like missed a lot of things. Like we didn't have family reunions no more. And that was kind of hard not seeing family during the time when it was funerals that we had deceased members. We couldn't go to the funeral, so that's what we're focusing on. And that's what I think, society should focus on, just family first, make them first.
Absolutely. And congratulations to Dr. Dada. I know you are proud. And even for starting a trucking business, you know what I mean? Yeah. To be a woman in that industry, it's a bossy industry. And so I'm excited to see what you do with that. We had some comments in our YouTube chat that said the family reunion has died down. How do we bring it back? I'm glad to have a space to help that return. And then we also said we might need another shutdown just without a virus. I agree with that because, listen, simple feathering gatherings can be positive for direction. This is coming from Delvrick Tenzino. Friend, if I slaughtered your name, forgive me. But something that was so bomb during the pandemic was like my twin brother, that's like my heartbeat. Like we were able to actually like sit around the table, and I became a math teacher overnight. So I'm like, son, you got to learn these dominoes. Like, come on, let's break out these bones, because everybody got to learn how to connect the dots and, put it together. But those times, like, you can never get back. And my brother recently passed away in July of last year. And I just was grateful for the pandemic because I was like, I would have never slowed down had it been a regular schmegular day. Like, I'm like, I got to be on steel, brother, fly out. Like, let's kick it. Let's pop it. But like those times are times that I will always remember. So bringing that back, the family's old school dynamic. Who would like to go next? I think I'm gonna pick on Niet.
I think we should get back to storytelling. That storytelling, I love hearing the stories from my grandparents, and I shared plenty of stories between me and my children, and I love hearing their stories. That was a point of time when we just got creative, like we just watched a movie and then we made alternative endings to it. Like we just got really, really creative with the storytelling, and like just giving each other space to talk. I think that would definitely bring back some of that old school family dynamic, getting in the kitchen and sharing our trades, sharing our talents. Like we spent years developing these talents and, a lot of schooling. Share a lot of that stuff. Share like your gardening, some of your personal passions with one another. And, like really, when I say storytelling, like passing that stuff down, because some things just got lost if we didn't have journaling. So I also suggest journaling too, because that's why I created my journal, Live My Best Life, is so you can pass down those thinking processes and those actions that it took for you to get and achieve what you have now. And it's like a blueprint to help the next generations moving forward.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that, Niet, because like there's something that happens when you're in the kitchen, like cooking, stirring up a good meal, sharing a great story. I always say like food tastes better in good company. Like it doesn't matter like who's around you, because I'm not breaking bread with nobody I really don't rock with. But right. When you're with your family and you're telling like, this is like real life, real talk, real spill conversations that's happening, because the youth, like they get caught up on social media and like that's a facade. Those are highlight reels. But beyond social media is life really happening. And let me teach you something that you can use. Let me drop these jewels that you can really tuck away for a time such as now when we're all back to the grind and separated again. So it's so important. And Tamisha Hall, thank you so much for commenting. I received that, sis. Thank you. We're going to move on to D Awesome. How do you think we could bring back the family old school vibe?
Oh, just time. That's the only element that's really missing is time. I mean, people have love, but love is earned from time being spent. That's the element. That's the thing that we don't have enough of. I always spew that we don't know nobody that we can borrow time from, or reverse it, or go get more of it. We just don't have the time. So with the time that we do have, we really got to get back to a principle of time management. There was a point in time that we really had. I remember growing up as a kid, there wasn't anybody's house that didn't have some type of format of calendar of family structured time that was going to be spent. Like, we don't see that when we go into each other's home. Like, me and my wife, we have stuff on the dry board calendar in the kitchen, and we have the chores and whatever. But we also had to like get on ourselves. Like, there was once upon a time we were really just like every Saturday, without a doubt, it was a 2 to 3 movie day, and we hadn't done it in a while. So we just had that discussion earlier today. But time, that's what's going on right now. It's time. Reason why our communities are the way nobody spends time with each other. There's literally people that live in apartment complexes and don't know the neighbor and been living across or next to this person 5 and 6 years. Don't know them, don't know their name, don't know anything about them. And just, we don't spend time. That's the only way. It's time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I hear you saying revitalizing community, because that's important to know who's next door to you. And that goes back to that breaking bread. Like, you want to know like your neighbor's behaviors. Like, if they're missing in action, you want to be able to say, hey, sis, you good? Like, let me knock on the door. But really, the element of time is a commodity that once it's spent, you can never get it back. I'm married to my husband who's incarcerated, and we even have Sunday family dinners virtually. Like, it's so important to just show, like, one, you're still a part of the family, but all of us are going to come together and spend that time with you because you're doing time, but we're doing the time too. And this is how we choose to celebrate all of us together. So I think it's extremely important to really take a pause for the cause and enjoy those that are around you. So we're going to slide over to Shadow 2 Rio and talk about how you think we could bring back the family element and dynamic.
Oh man, this topic here is something I've been talking to like my brother. I've talked to my grandma and all of them about, because it goes back to the family reunion things too, like, or even just like you said, Sunday dinners. If you really think about it, like most houses or most homes in the 90s, everybody had that one person's house they was always at. Like for me, it was my mama's house. When I say like you couldn't even come down that street and pass that house because there was so many cars out there in that driveway. You know what I mean? Like, it was always something going on a Sunday, whether it was the people from church coming, family coming, everybody was close knit. And you had like 30 moms, let's be real, because all the church moms, they pretty much was your mama. You couldn't get in trouble or do nothing. They kids was your best friends, et cetera, et cetera. It was like one big family. And over time, if you notice, all the older generations start dying off. And as the older generation started dying off, all of us started growing up. And what happened? The generation that was dying off but still around said, "Hey, we not doing the cooking no more. We not doing this no more. We handing the reins off to the younger generation." And what happened? Everybody split. Everybody went their own directions. Everybody too busy. Everybody doing this. Everybody doing that, because nobody wanted to take the responsibility to host it. But as soon as somebody hosts it, watch everybody show up. You know what I'm saying? Nobody wanted to put in the work. And like, think about it like this. Even now, like, all of us can honestly say we got at least one or two multiple cousins that we sit there and they be like, "Yeah, man, I love you, cuz, man. We got to link up. We got to do this. We got to do that. Whoop, whoop." How many of them actually put something together to actually do it? None of them. I got maybe one or two cousins I can think of off the top of my head that I actually put something together and try to get family together. But what happens? Everybody's doing this. Everybody's doing that. I got a cousin right now who's trying to put together a family cruise. They're like, "Hey, we're planning to do a cruise in 2024. Everybody's on board. They're like, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Okay, everybody contribute $20 at this amount of time, or $30, or yada yada. So is money coming involved? Oh, I don't think I'm gonna be able to do it. I don't think I'm gonna be. It's not what it used to be. In order to bring that back, people have to genuinely want to be around you. People have to genuinely want to step out of that comfort zone and say, "Hey, let's put family back together. Family is first." You can't, like for me, I stand on FOE, family over everything. I got it tatted on my stomach. I had that since I was 18. People used to think that was a gang thing, but it wasn't. It was a bunch of us who came together and said, "Hey, we all we got. We hang out. We look out for each other, right or wrong. I got your back." That's what it was. And then we carried it over as we got older and had families. A lot of people say it, but they don't stand on it. I stand on that 100%. Like I said, I talked to my grandma, I talked to my brothers about this to where it was like, hey, we need to try to bring back real family reunions, not these family reunions where you see one or two people, three, four, and you got that one older person that's about to die soon. Like, bring it back. And if y'all don't want to bring it back to where you're listening to the old culture tell you, stories that they've been through, all this, that, and the other. Okay, how about this? Bring it back, but in a different way. Bring family reunions. Let's still have like your older person that you're honoring, but at the same time, switch it. You got this new generation that's coming up of babies. Hell, my daughter's only about to be 2 come Friday. Honor the newer generation if you want to switch it up. And the reason I say honor the newer generation because now it sets a trend. It sets a tone to where we're honoring this generation that's coming up because they're going to be the ones that supersede us. When we're gone, that's what's left behind. Give them a reason to want to push through. Give them a reason to do better, to see better, to make life better. Because guess what? There's going to be a generation that comes after them. It doesn't stop with them. It continues. It continues. It continues. All they see is, oh, they're honoring this old person. They're honoring this person who started the family. They don't understand it, the meaning of it, because everybody who understood the meaning of it has either died off or they don't come around family no more because no one wants to be around family. Start something different, add some new stuff to it, switch it up, however you got to do it. But find whatever you can find to bring family back together, to bring that original, for me, 90s close-knit community back together. You know what I mean? Whatever it is, whether it's every Sunday do a Sunday cookout, Saturdays do a fish fry, something, you know what I'm saying? Find that one thing that's going to bring everybody back together to where they want to be together. Once they are together, they're happy. They can laugh, joke, like you said, playing dominoes, playing some cards, something. But everybody has to be on the same page. No one can be, oh, I don't have time for this. I don't have time for that. Well, guess what? If you don't have time, go find something else to do. We'll stick with the people that we have. Whenever you realize you should have been a part of this, then go ahead, come on in. That door is always open for family. But the only thing, just like your mom used to tell you back in the day, you ain't coming in and out that door. Pick one. So
That's big facts. So thank you for sharing that because it's so important to like revitalize it, right? Like even if your family's all spread out, do a virtual family reunion. Do something to where the younger generation feel like, okay, we're about to do this little TikTok challenge, whatever, like fish fry cook off, what have you. But sometimes you have to document what you're doing because eventually everybody has their season where they're going to transition, and that transition should be handing off the torch to the younger generation. You know what I mean? So they know how to properly do a family reunion. I've never attended one of my own personal family reunions. My family's all over the place. Coming from a military background, a family, I know my family through social media, and that's the unfortunate part is that you're distant from that time. But it's important to get some old school, some Southern soul, blues, whatever you vibe to, and really create that environment for your family. We had some amazing comments come through on YouTube. Mr. TKO said, "Bring back the family vibe. The TMAX network is going to do a family reunion in a new way coming soon, so stay tuned for that." Maria Gonzalez, hey sis, hey, said exactly. We got to teach the younger generation. We have to show our children how to move forward in that vibe and how important family is. So please give us some enlightenment, Miss Levette, about how you think we could bring back the family vibe.
Well, I mean, we still have our family reunions every 2 years, but we haven't had one since 2018. Our next one was supposed to be in 2020. Because of COVID, everything got canceled. We were all going to go to San Francisco. And to make a long story short, my mom is an only child, but my dad was 12 of 12. And all of them relocated to Los Angeles, and my dad was the only one that stayed in Louisiana. So they believed in family getting together. So we like spent summers in Los Angeles. So when we started having our family reunions, when the older generation started, getting older, They was like, let's have a family reunion every 2 years. So we have been having family reunions every 2 years since 1994. And that way we still know all our cousins. I know all my cousins in Los Angeles. And we still talk, and we're even better acquainted now because all of us are on Facebook and everything. We are going to work on planning one, we said, for 2024, maybe take a cruise. But what we would do is every 2 years, either we would plan one here in Louisiana, or we would go to Los Angeles. Some of the relatives lived in San Francisco. Some of them lived in Seattle, Washington. We've been there. And we also have some relatives that are in Pittsburgh. So we've been there as well. And I just believe in family reunion because, you may meet a cousin, and the world is really small. And you may meet a cousin and you may not know that that's really your cousin. So that's why it's important to know who your family is and your family dynamics. So now my kids, they know they have cousins in Los Angeles because you meet people, and y'all may be related first cousins, and y'all get together and start dating and don't really realize that that's my first cousin. So we always kept and try to keep family important. And growing up, when my kids were smaller, they knew every Tuesday was Taco Tuesday. We did something Mexican. So it's very important. But a lot of younger generation people, they don't, it's like they stay in their room playing video games or whatever. They don't call their kids to dinner. And like she was saying earlier, Princess, you make time for that family time. Sit down, and if it's just 1 or 2 nights a week, sit down and have dinner, with everybody at the table. Talk about how your day going, what happened today, what happened at school. And I know that's what I did with my kids when they were younger. But this younger generation now, it's like they kind of be doing their own little thing, and their kids are either stuck on an iPad playing video games. And I think that's what we need to bring back, to get that family back, to spend time together, and just and definitely have those family reunions so you can know who your family is.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that. I just wanted to say my cousin, because I come from Seattle, Washington too, but not originally, but I landed here. But I wanted to ask y'all, and sometimes I'll say it's not the younger generation, because as a woman and a mother who's a serial entrepreneur, I know it's me at times. When my son is like, "Mommy, are you coming to sit to at the dinner table?" And I'll be like, "Well, I'm right here next to the dinner table, still working. My computer setup is right here, so I'm gonna just spin around." But that doesn't work for them. They really want that quality time. Yes, that quality time is so important. And my little empath, he's gonna make sure that I stop working, because he's like, "Hello, I'm coming to give you a hug. Are you ready?" And so it's important. I wanted to ask y'all before we slide off of this topic, Nia, I'm going to come to you, but what are y'all bringing to the family reunion? Like, what is that signature dish that you make or that you're looking for at the family cookout?
Banana pudding. I mean, banana pudding, whoever got that barbecue sauce, and the music. I know you're talking about food, but it gotta be music there. Music and dancing. That's my life. I love that. So definitely have that at the family reunion. And I don't, matter of fact, that macaroni and cheese too. I know people don't be look, I don't care if it's 5 versions of macaroni and cheese. Bring it.
I was going to say that mac and cheese, that's what it is. That's what I know how to make. That's what I'm good at. But listen, I'm even for the seafood. Like, are you bringing any of that? D Awesome said, you going to bring your fun size boyfriend too? Look, I added the fun size.
Hey, you got to be careful with that macaroni. You got to be careful with that macaroni. That'll get you kicked out of there.
Ooh, that's why I said 5 versions.
And potato salad too.
5 versions of that as well.
Go buy some potato salad.
It's
Hey,
potato
Just make
salad.
sure that potato
Hey, you
salad
right.
don't have no raisins in it, because we
For
don't eat
real.
that down here.
Hey,
We
you
don't
out the
eat that.
family at that point. Ain't no
Cancel.
family reunion. Cancel. You gone. And that pound cake better not be dry.
Yes, that 7-Up pound cake.
Man, shoot,
I need
sour
my
cream
chicken.
pound
I need
cake.
my
You ever had
chicken
that?
grilled
Ooh-wee.
kind of hard too. I don't like that slimy chicken.
Oh no,
Yeah,
no.
make sure them ribs is falling off the bone. And we
Hey,
listen. We gonna do.
y'all done got me hungry.
The awesome princess, Miss Lavette. What y'all bringing to the cookout, or what are you expecting?
Not a damn thing. I'm not.
Friend, did you say you bringing an appetite? That's what you
No,
bringing? That's what you looking
no,
for?
maybe not even that, because it's a reason. Listen,
Okay.
I used to be a professional trainer for 15 years. I'm an observant person, so I analyze a lot. I watch people's consumption. I know the true meaning of the word diet. That means lifestyle. And some people's lifestyle, I don't want to partake in my own, so I'm cool. Like, I'm down 25 pounds, and I really wasn't trying to be at this point from doing a little push-up challenge with a friend that asked me to do it with him. And I'm like, dang, my wife's like, your clothes look funny. And I'm like, hush, woman, you're getting out of line. Then I go walk past the mirror, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, this shirt ain't fitting like it quite used to. All right, maybe she's right. Then I get on the scale, I'm 210. I'm like, oh, where'd that come from? So now I'm not bringing nothing outside of love. I mean, hug people, see people, but nah. As far as nutrition go, I gotta go a different route.
Bring the ice water. We need ice. What you mean?
Yeah.
Y'all be all right.
No, you know you can't have too many bags of ice at the family reunion now. Somebody always gotta go get some ice.
That's right,
Yeah.
plates.
Yeah.
I like that tap ice.
Our sis Maria Gonzalez says she getting kicked out of the family reunion before it even starts. So sis, are you putting raisins in the tater salad, like carrots? What you putting in there? Why you getting kicked out so soon? Oh yeah, she says she make the potato salad with the raisins. That's a little bit different now. That's real different. Something that I'm gonna bring to the family reunion is music, good music. I'm gonna be the bartender, and I'm gonna also be the photographer. And lightweight, I already said I'll be the DJ. So, Miss Princess, I'm gonna kick it over to you.
Well,
Slow it down.
unfortunately, my family reunion is in October, and it's our 90th family reunion. So normally, all the women will cook, all the men outside on the grill. But this year, everything is being catered. They go into a hotel, everything's catered event. So it's not going to be really, to me, a real family reunion. It's just that we're just going to be seeing each other. People going to be over here, others going to be over there. It is what it is. I guess it's the new thing they start, and younger people are really coordinating it this year. But I do look forward every year. We have a block party in North Carolina where it originated where my parents was born.
Yeah.
My mom and dad. So we shut down the whole block because I have like 4 cousins that live on one block. So they shut down the block. They have bouncy toys for the kids. Everybody's out on the grills because we used to own restaurants, our family. So they got the big old grills lined up. So the men do all the meat, the women in the kitchen. Normally what I contribute is my macaroni and cheese, which is my mom's recipe, a potato salad, and collard greens. So that's just it. So I'm looking forward to that because I like the home cooked food. The catered food is okay. You get that every day, from restaurants. But the family reunion is when everybody bring their little bit of soul into it,
When they put that
I
love
miss
into
those
it.
block parties though. I don't want to sleep on them. We used to have block parties often. So that was like our community, our family and friends that was like lived in our community. But we had people coming from north side, east side, west side, south side. It wasn't just blood relatives. It was just like everybody there just rocked together. So I miss those definitely. I haven't had any since I've been here in North Carolina. So to find out they still doing it down here, I'm excited.
Absolutely. I wish our friend Maria Gonzalez was on with us live because I want to know, like, what is this raisin in the potato salad? Like, I've never understood that concept. So, D Awesome was like, no. Even when we was talking about the macaroni and cheese, he was like, nah, too much stuff on the heart. D Awesome, what's up with the macaroni and cheese? Why you hating on the cheese, friend?
I'm not hating on nothing. I'm just hating on all the process they gonna go with it. I'm cool on it. I'm telling you. You know the thing about it is, this is our people. It's not a black person on this panel that can't resonate with this. We got to break generational curses. We got to do something. When we going to do something different? Do something different.
All right. I bring the tossed salad.
Hey, that's one curse that ain't finna get broke. That macaroni and cheese, that's coming. You understand me? That
listen.
The good potato salad, the grandma's potato
like my grandfather would say. Bear your own cross.
I bring the tossed salad in. How about that?
Nah,
cool. Cut up some fresh cucumbers.
Cool. I said I'm cool.
Some
I said I'm cool.
Somebody got the garden going. We got the romaine lettuce.
We're gonna do carrot hot dogs on the grill. We're gonna do some portobello mushrooms.
See,
all of that. But if you don't got that bat wing, if you ain't really stirring it up with the bat wing,
we didn't yet to bring that friend.
Look, man, he's still on your fun size friend.
You know what? I'm gonna find one. I'm gonna find one. You watch. I'm gonna find one, and I'm gonna introduce him to you.
There you go.
I'm gonna introduce him to you since you're so fascinated by him.
And I'm gonna be like, family, man, it's so good. Hey, welcome to the fold, my boy. Hey, you let me know if she get out of line. I straighten up for you, bro. She was a good dude.
I'm sorry.
Absolutely. We are like, this conversation is going so good. I want to know, like, what are some things that, like, if we have the virtual TMAX family reunion, what would you be expecting from a virtual family reunion?
Music.
Yeah.
Good music.
I like games too.
That too.
Games. Yeah.
Oh, for a destination? Destin, Florida.
Destin, Florida. Mr. TKO on YouTube said, if you were designated to organize your family reunion, where would you set the destination? So we already heard Destin, Florida. What's next?
Destin, Florida.
Mine definitely back in Baltimore, Maryland. Home, Drew Park. I don't know what it's looking like right now, but to me, that's definitely back to our heritage. Like, everybody know what Drew Park was.
Yeah, me too. I have to go back to the roots where my grandparents originated, and that's Rose Hill, North Carolina. No one knows about it. No one heard about it. Got one traffic light. That's how small it is. So we would go back there.
Princess, you throw me off. The reason why I say this is because everything about you gives me straight Philly vibes. I got nothing outside of Philly from you. I was like, maybe Baltimore, but you give me straight Philly vibes.
I'm from Southside Jamaica, Queens, New York.
Okay. I kind of figured that too. Okay. I'm like, this. I'm like, North Carolina, and you just I know it, but it ain't just. Okay, makes sense now.
New York, with my mom and dad in North Carolina.
All right, it makes sense. All the Negroes went up north and populated. Yep,
exactly.
My cousin Maria Gonzalez on the YouTube said, on somebody's water is where she would host her family reunion. I can agree with that, because that water be nice, friend. Shadow to Real, Miss Levette, where are you hosting your family reunion?
That's what I was sitting here thinking about. Yeah, there go the echo. All right. Nah, that's what I was really sitting here thinking about. I'm like, where would I really want to go? You know what I mean? Like I said before, mixing new school with old school. Okay, we can go somewhere different. All right, hey, let's all go to Jamaica or something, do something different, find out where everybody's roots is. Because apparently I know I got a piece of Jamaica, some Jamaican in me somewhere. I know I got African in me, Asian, Indian, and some French. So I'm like, why not? Let's go back to some of them old places and see what's out there. Let's go have some fun on these old shores and stuff like that. Something, what I'm saying? Do something different. But at the same time, like, I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, I want to go back to the basics, back to the old days when we just went to this one park on the second day of the reunion. Everybody ran around, had fun. Old guys on the grill, with the Jesus ones on, what I'm saying, big beer bellies and stuff, just throwing down on the grill, like,
I Jesus.
Yeah, man, the Jesus Force ones, man.
The Force ones.
Yeah.
With the toes out, friend.
With the toes out. You might have that one uncle that wore the socks, But you always had that one uncle that had the Jesus Force ones. He ain't care, man. He was out there just throwing down, talking a whole lot of mess. Matter of fact, he was so good with grilling, he be playing spades while he grilling, and still food come out on point. You know what I mean? So, hey, I ain't lying, man. Like, take me back to those days for real. Like, I would probably say something like that, man. Cause yeah, that's where it all started. That's what made it fun. You know what I mean?
Listen,
So,
I'm trying to find Unc with the Jesus ones on because you know he could fry some fish and make
oh,
some hog mac
quick
cheese.
fast, quick fast. Like hey, I'm talking about one of them big old pots. You know, everything in it. You know, your crabs, your shrimp, your egg, your potato, all that stuff in one. Just letting it go. Don't come near that pot neither.
Look,
Don't come
my
near
mouth
it.
watering now talking about the seafood brawl.
That
I'm telling
seafood
you,
boil. I
ain't nothing like it.
apologize. My daughter was FaceTiming me, so I answered her on my iPad, but she didn't want anything, so I'm good. Sorry about that.
It's okay. You know, sometimes our kids be like, Mama, what you cooking? Girl, I'm busy. I'm working. So, Miss Lavelle, where are you taking a family reunion to?
um, at food wise, you mean?
Yeah,
Destination.
location,
Food
destination.
destination. They're talking about doing a cruise next year. So I'm not sure, since it's only us here in Louisiana, instead of leaving out of New Orleans, we would probably have to fly to California and get on the ship in California. That's what they're discussing now for May 13th through 18th of next year. So we'll
That's
see.
gonna be so nice, so
Hmm.
marvelous, so
Yeah,
marvelous.
they're
See, I
talking
would go
about
back to
going.
Jamaica. I
Yeah,
would
I
go to
think that's
Jamaica.
what they're talking about. It was either She said either the Caribbean or the Bahamas, one of the two. So I'm not sure. I just get, when they send me the information, that's when I do what I need to do because it's hard being on a committee, and I'm just glad I'm not on the committee this year.
Absolutely. I just know
I
I'm getting my T-shirt and that cruise ticket.
Exactly.
D, awesome. What you got for us?
no, I picked Destin, Florida, because one is a beautiful place, and it's basically the family version of Miami. Uh,
Yep.
there's a lot of great food there, and it's a lot of different experiences. One, because a lot of the family hasn't been outside of the state, so to take them somewhere like that they could see kind of interest them to go ahead and peek their horizons. Like, oh man, this is out in the world. Like, it's just not a screensaver. It's just not like a picture or photo. Like, this is actually out here. So that's just to show them like just something that's actually within reach, but then also get them to think, abroad as well. So that would be the reason why I would want to have a family reunion outside of my home state, because home is home. Like, it's easy. Everybody knows home. That's the easy thing. But let me change it. Let me show you something different, and you can be with your family. That's a different level right there. So you take somebody out the familiar, you can change the mindset a little bit too.
Yeah. See, that's why I said I'll go like to Jamaica or somewhere like that too, because most of my family is in Florida and Georgia. So that's normal for us. Like people be like, oh, like you gonna drive down to Miami? Drive down to Miami. That's a normal trip.
Right.
We'll do that the same day. We'll go down there in the morning, come back later on that night, or go to
Yeah.
Orlando. Like it's not that was normal. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. So that's why I said I'll do something different and go outside the country, because anybody can go anywhere in the states. Even though like you said, we got family who ain't been out of one state, let
Mm-hmm.
alone seen multiple. How about let me open your eyes to something else? Cool. We got all these states. That's nice. That's lovely. Let me show you a different culture. Let me
Right.
take you overseas somewhere. Let me take you to
Right.
a different country,
Yeah.
somewhere that you've never seen. Like my grandma, who is not my biological mom, my mom, who is my biological grandmother. I was adopted by my grandparents. She's never been to another country outside of just being on a cruise.
Mm.
Like I want her, even though she has dementia right now. One of my goals is to take her and my pop somewhere to where they can actually put their feet in the sand somewhere
Mm-hmm.
other than America. You know what I mean? Let them see
Right.
something, do something different. You know, they both 75 and 76. You know what I mean? Like they days are numbered. Let's be
So
real.
with your grandmother, because you hit something that's close to me because I lost a grandmother to dementia.
Mm-hmm.
And the last thing that took place was mom's was like, hey, sit down with her, and, you know, just while I'm gone. I said, no problem. And I was sitting there talking. And this particular grandmother was one of the first black manager of HLNP, which is Houston Light and Power. So that was black history within the family in itself.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm talking to her and I'm like, yeah, you know, it's Black History Month. And she's like, it's February? She's like, yeah, it's February. And she looked up and she called me by name. And she was like, oh, baby, it's so good to see you. And it was one of those moments I just shut up because it was like, I don't want to ruin it. I'm hoping that this thing could revert. And I tried to stay as long, and she was just running down history and she was telling me stuff, you know, make sure you stay in good shape and like all the stuff she would tell me. And she was like, you still remember that poem you used to quote all the time? And then she asked for me to go get her some water. And I got up to go get some water. And when I came back,
Done.
She was gone.
Yep.
So in that, man, this is my words to you. Because I did it with my grandfather when I was taking care of him. Get as much history as you can.
Yeah.
Record it, note it all, man. Get as much as you can. Because that in itself is so much more worth and value than $100 million cash.
Mm-hmm.
I really want you to have that, bro, because that is
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Trust me, man. I know, like, she came down with it. I'd say within the last 5 years, and yeah, like it's been hitting me different ways. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like for the women on her side, it's a trigger. So for my great grandma, so her mom, it was one of her brothers, my uncle Isola. He was like the reverend of the family, the pastor of the family, damn near the golden child.
Mm-hmm.
When he died, that's when she down spiraled.
Mm.
My other mom's sister, my Aunt Alice, I used to always go to her house whenever my mama had to work. If I didn't have school, I was at her house. That was the babysitter. Like that was the one. Like you don't play around her. Like I still remember she used to walk around with a fly swatter and took the top of the fly swatter off. That's what she got you with. She didn't get no belt. That's what she hit you with. But that was like her when my Aunt Rose, who was her other sister, they were joined at the hip. Like when I say like you don't see one without the other, that's how it was. That one, they was always around each other. When my Aunt Rose died, my Aunt Alice down spiraled. For my mom, it was a lady at the church named Sister Gina. That was like, you know, she always mentored Sister Gina. She always, you know, taught her stuff. Like growing up, I couldn't even get on the phone because every time I hop on the phone, Sister Gina on the phone talking to my mama. So I'm like, I can't talk to nobody. Can't wait till I get my own phone. You know, stuff like that. But that was like the daughter she never had. Like my mama had three boys, and then my biological dad was her son. So she only had boys. So that was the daughter she never had. She passed away, like I said, about 4 or 5 years ago, and my mom down spiraled from there. Like I would talk to my mama, like when I say like this lady was like sharp.
Oh yeah.
Oh, when I like you can't say nothing to her today that she ain't gonna remember like 10, 15 years from now. Yeah. That lady bring it back up. So you remember when you said this, right? Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Well, you just turned that age today, so you ready? Like my mama was sharp, and she was a minister. Had just got her doctor's degree in ministerial science. So, and it was crazy because she had just got it, and then I'd say maybe 6-7 months later, Sister Gina had got diagnosed with some stuff, and she died. And that's when my mom down spiraled. And everybody was like, I don't get it. She just got a doctorate. I was like, it happens, you know. Yeah. But it's hard too because watching my pops.
That's something I noticed as well. Yeah. It seemed to be like the people who really were just really independent, very brilliant, and that was her. Just to see her go through it is like, this was one of the strongest women I know. Yep. This is like it doesn't make sense to me now, even thinking about it, like, you know, but you know, it's life. So
she had dementia. Is that what she has?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's like my mom. My mom has that now. And
Yeah.
she's 86 years old, gets around like she's 40 physically, in great health. But my dad passed in January of 20, and it's like she can't remember. It affects her short-term memory. Just like she's been back here. I moved in with her last April,
Mm-hmm.
and because she couldn't do her finances anymore, and she's a retired school teacher, taught school 31 years, has a doctorate degree and everything. But it's like after my dad passed, it was like she was living to take care of him, and then when he passed, it's just like she's just going down. She's been back here 3 times to tell me good night and
Mm-hmm.
to ask me where I work and if I'm going to work in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So
I
I
was
definitely understand.
I often wonder because when granddaddy died, I don't remember her having like an emotional kind of like heave. I just don't recall it at all. And I've asked
Mm,
several family members and they can't recall her having it. And I've asked other people, in kind of similar situations, and they're like, I don't think they did. So I
mm,
wonder if there's a connection there when they lose somebody and they don't have like that outpour, that cry, and it just internalizes, and then it spirals a disconnection somewhere.
yeah,
So
I don't know. I know my dad. He was still short when he passed. He would have been 83 in June of 2020, but his mind was still sharp. He could tell you everything. But he would tell me a couple of years before he died. He would say, I think your mama kind of getting forgetful. But I would notice it because I didn't live here with her all the time.
mhm.
He would notice it more. And then, like I say, after he died, it's just like, she asks you the same thing like 10 times in a 2 minute conversation.
Do
So
you do you do you remember your mom like having a heavy cry or
I
anything?
don't, nope. When my
Oh
dad
wow.
passed away, she was very calm. She was just, she was like, okay, Lavette, handle this right here. And my
Hmm.
dad had already told me everything he wanted, all his wishes and everything. But I don't, she cried a little bit at the services, but
Hmm.
just to say she had really a cry out in front of me or my brother, she
Hmm.
didn't, unless
I,
she
I, I
cried
want to I
somewhere in
want to do a
private.
research. I want to do a study so bad because I want to know if my imagination is getting the best of me, or am I just kind of making stuff up? Because I want to really get to that thing, particularly with our people, because that's what the ones I'm seeing it really have that position on us, because we're talking about rekindling and rebonding the family, but that's our history tree. You know what I mean? That's literally the roots and the top simultaneously that we're looking at. And then if it gets to a point where they have somebody that's not like Shadow, grandmother, or like mine, that may not be able to recall some things when you ask certain questions, it's just going to be lost, questions that may keep them up at night for however long, decades even. So I really I'm gonna make that a personal mission to really see if there is a connection between the loss of someone and the kickoff of dementia. I really want to know if that's a true thing.
Maybe you can start off doing something simple as like a poll and just
Mm,
get, the people to start commenting on it, because this might be something that, as you're publicly mentioning, someone else is probably going through and noticing the same thing, but not
mm,
really picking up on it, while it's going on.
Yeah, because
mm,
I didn't think about that until you just said it. Because as strong as my mama is, I'm like, I can't really recall like her like outburst crying. And if you
mm,
really think about it,
Hmm.
you know how people always tell you like, don't hold stuff in, don't hold it in, let
Yes.
it out, let it out.
mm,
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
us as black people, let's be real, like there's a lot of things we go through, a lot of pain that we have that we never share, especially
Release.
that
Exactly.
older generation never let certain
Hmm.
stuff out. Like I can only
Mhm.
name probably on one hand how many times I've seen my mom cry. I can't even tell you when I've seen my pops cry. Like
mm,
And I know he's going through it right now because he's the one who's taking care of her, and she don't see him as her husband. She sees him as a random stranger walking through her house.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed too, just listening to some of her stories, like just sitting with her. Like I was like, hey, Pop's sitting over there in the chair. Cause she be like, where your Pops at? I'm like, he's sitting right there. She was like, nah, he went to work. My Pops used to work a lot back in the day. So I'm like, she's rethinking about back
And
then.
that's what they think about
Yeah.
exactly.
And then like when she looks at, so we got a wall with everybody, like all my uncles had their own wall with their life, different stuff when they was kid, grown up. And I got my wall with me, my kids and stuff like that. And she sat there and had a conversation with me, but I wasn't me to her. But when she looked at the pictures, that was me. And she was just telling me stories about me. She was like, yeah, I remember him when he was like this, that, and now he's in the Air Force. He's doing great, this, that, and the other. And I didn't say nothing. I just kind of listened. Just because that was the first time she did not acknowledge who I was standing next to her. When my son walked in the room, she looked at him and called him by my name. And I was like, you know what? I'll take it. I'll take it. Because at least I know she still remembers me, but she remembers me when I was there. That was the delicate age. Because they didn't have to adopt me. You gotta think they were 45, going on 50 around that age. They didn't need to adopt nobody else. They were on their own, all their kids grown out the house, yada yada yada. But she decided to go ahead and say, hey, I want him. We're gonna adopt him because I don't want him going to nobody else. I was raised by her. And I think when I had my kids, it saved her again.
Bro, if anything I can say, like I say, please document anything, bro. My is my so I know yours is just like yours. So I'll be following you, keeping that connection, bro. And I'd like to definitely connect with you this Sunday too, man.
Sure.
And see more of a bond out of this, because I don't want to just bond off the fact that we've had this similar past. I want it to be like a connection, like this is where we connected, but I don't want this to be the bond. You know what I mean?
No, I got you. Sometimes that's what it takes. It takes you figuring out that you're not the only one going through something for you to make a connection with somebody, and then you find out, hey, you got other connections with that person as well.
Right.
Like they say, most people, they come together over trauma before everything else.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I can congratulate you on all your victories all day long, but if I don't know what you've been through in your lifetime, all the tragedy that you've been through that we can connect through, that's what'll bring us closer together, because now I can be vulnerable, you can be vulnerable. There's not none of that, we tough guys. It brings us down to a different level. A lot of people don't like to do that.
No, man. We gotta, the thing too, ladies, I commend y'all because of the damning, atrocious, traumatic, consistent foolishness that Black American women had to take on. We faltered by, not on purpose, not intentionally, but we faltered. We wavered from our position. And I apologize to any woman that's on the panel, and even to you, my brother, as a Black man for Black men who had made a mistake and didn't know how engraved it went, how in depth it went, how far it went, how much of a level of hurt that it went, because they just didn't know. I'm asking for forgiveness for those gentlemen on their behalf, standing in that gap. And in return, I hope and I pray that you forgive yourself in that same position and understand none of that was any of y'all fault. You didn't cause any of that. It's just life. It ain't always sweet. It ain't always fair. The truth ain't always beautiful. It's ugly as hell, but highly necessary. So please, for me standing in this gap on behalf of those men, and even if this bothers you, please forgive me.
I appreciate it.
Much received. Thank you so
Appreciate
much.
it.
Yeah, it's needed and it's necessary. These topics are needed to be talked about, especially in the Black community, especially amongst Black men, because, like you said, like everybody endures something. And even just hearing you, I was kind of taken aback because I didn't experience my mother going through things like dementia, She passed away unexpectedly at 46. So it was a week after my 18th birthday. And so it's like, man, like she had 18 years and 7 days to teach me everything she was going to teach me about life and being a woman and being a Black woman in America. And so like, I salute her always. I stand tall in all my greatness with this being her 20th year of passing away and just being like, I'm choosing to do better and break these generational curses, because it's a blessing when you have your family around you and your legacy. We have Hey Hush said, yeah, I'm glad he taking it for the dumb stuff I done because I'm not admitting to nothing. Laugh out loud. Listen, we receive it because it's necessary and it's needed. And at the end of the day, we're all human. And so, D Awesome, thank you for standing in the gap for that. I pray that the audience feels that apology and we receive it as well. I just want to touch on something, like any last comments coming up that you want to share about the last topic that we touched on, anything you want to give the folks, some news that they can use to go into the rest of their week. We're going into hump day tomorrow. What you want to share with the people, friends?
Cherish every moment. Every single moment that you get with family, friends, even the people that you can't stand at work. Cherish every moment that you have because you never know when it's going to be your last. At the same time, you never know who you're going to inspire in that time period. You don't know who's going through what clearly, like we just had a conversation about. But you could be that light at the end of the tunnel for somebody. And you never know who could be the light at the end of the tunnel for you. So cherish every moment that you got. Every day above ground is an amazing day. So take advantage of it.
Thank you. Princess, we're going to go to you next.
I was going to say, life is short, like you said. Like, try to forgive. Don't hold grudges. You meet people in life that is in a season, but those that's near to you and dear to you, keep in touch with them. Call them on the phone once in a while, make family first, do more family time, do different activities. If you got grandkids, little kids, show them what life is, show them what you learned, because they can't have these people in the outside world and environment teaching them. It needs to start within home. You need to teach within home. And that's how everything is going to work out in life.
Thank you for those words of wisdom. Miss Levette?
Well, the words I live by is treat people the way you want to be treated. And that's just what I believe in. And that's what I've taught my children. And I tell them all the time, treat people the way you want to be treated. If you don't want it done to you, don't do it to someone else, because time is precious and you have to cherish every moment. And I know even the year that I've been here with my mom, it's hard. And I have to pray for patience every day. And any caregiver, and I still get up and go to work every morning, and she's okay to stay by herself during the day, but it's at nighttime, and those sundowners are the worst because she doesn't remember. And I just have to pray for myself. I ask my pastor and everybody, just pray for me and pray for patience. And like I said, just the words I live by: treat people the way you want to be treated. And because God put us here to be able to help others. So that's the words that I would share with anybody.
Thank you for those jewels you're dropping, Miss Niet. How about you, sis?
Man, just be grateful. Express gratitude for the big, the small. Express gratitude for you not being where you were last year. Express gratitude for your family, your health, your friends, everything that you've been working towards. Just be grateful. That's what I used to have on my walls. Just be grateful and express gratitude for everything.
Thank you for that. We had somebody on YouTube who just joined us. Welcome to the party. Your question was, I just joined. What is this all about? Black people seeking therapy for healing purposes. We all need that every day, all day, because some of us be walking around with this trauma backpack, sticking it in there, saying, I'm going to heal later. I'm going to heal later. Well, that later is today. The time is now for healing and really changing the inside dynamic so that way you can allow your purpose to align with your passion, which is serving the community and all those good things. But healing starts first. The topic that we had tonight was building back the community and how we go about doing that. So we're just wrapping up with some words of wisdom. D Awesome, I'm going to come to you and to all the panelists. If you could please stick around after we stop airing, we would love to pop it with you after. But D Awesome, we're coming to you next.
Man, understand this. Feelings are temporary, and you can't maneuver through life off of feeling. It may help you accomplish something, but it won't get you to all the things. There's a book by Brian Tracy called No Excuses, and there's one particular passage in there that he talks about, I do the right thing because I know it's the right thing that needs to be done. I don't do the right thing because it always feels right. So do the right thing because you know it's the right thing to do. It's better to be on the side of right than it is to be on the side of feeling. We've already discussed that nobody has ample amount of time. We don't know who we can call and borrow any from. Have you heard from the panelists as well as myself that cherish it, be grateful for it, and understand that one day that the day comes where your time will run out and you will still be with you, but will you be with you with regret, or you be with you in a point of, I enjoyed the experience? Find yourself, find love for self, and then everything else will fall into place.
Thank you, D Awesome, for those amazing words of wisdom. I'm going to say, check your popper. This popper of mine, like I always say, like, they used to call me the mouth of the South because I would just talk and tell everybody's business, and I'd be like 4 or 5. So I knew I was going to have a platform such as this, right? But like, there's power, there's life and death in the power of the tongue. So you have to choose your words wisely. Once you spill them words out, you're either going to lift somebody up or you're going to break them down. You got to live with that forever. You know what I mean? So like, really, like, make sure you're recalibrating your popper every day, that you're recalibrating what you put in your spirit, because that's going to flow out into those that you're meant to serve. And you're either going to serve people and they're going to follow you for good or for the bad that you do in life. So choose love and light always. And again, I thank you for tuning in to the People's Campaign. I am your girl, Denise Nicole. We are so grateful that you joined us today. As you've been seeing, the TMAX network is doing some amazing things with great shows. Follow along, and we look forward to having you again next Tuesday at 7:45 Eastern Standard Time. Thank you for having me as your guest host this evening. Peace, y'all.
A gangster, gentleman, you are everything and more. Gangster in the streets, but an African king at home. California swag, we met at 360 on the east side. One phone call had us hooked. At 14 I felt love inside. While you're inside I'll hold you down. You still make your commute